Hey everybody, I'm Stryker at KROQ. So happy to be joined by Finneas. Hello, Finneas.
Thanks, Stryker. Nice to be here.
It is so great to meet you. What a ride you have been on. Have you had a chance to do nothing at all within the last few weeks, or is it still go, 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 go?
The last few weeks have been, we've had a fair amount to do, which is fine. But you know, it's cliche, but I'm like one of those people that's like not very good at doing nothing. You know what I
Really?
mean? Yeah, I mean, you know, here and there, there's like one, like if a thing gets canceled one day, that's kind of like a snow day. But if someone told me I had like a week where I couldn't do anything, I'd panic. Yeah.
There's 3 songs that you just played, and they were beautiful, and
Thanks,
it was
man.
so cool to watch. You guys can see it on KROQ.com. The songs that you have made as a solo artist, do you do those on the road? Do you do those at home?
Recording wise,
Yeah.
Recording and writing wise, the brunt of all the stuff that I've put out has been on tour, recorded on tour, written on tour. It's a little bit of a hectic way to make music,
Right.
but I like it, and I like the kind of, like my girlfriend and I were talking on the phone once when I was on tour, and I was like, I just finished a song today or whatever, and she was like, do you think the songs would be totally different if you were home? Like, do you think they would sound totally different or they'd be written differently? And I was like, yeah, but I think that's cool. I think it's like I get to tour all the time, and I get to take advantage of the fact that gets to inform all the music, which is cool.
And that work ethic that you have is so incredible. So if we're doing this interview now, then I'm going to do the radio show. When it's done, I'm going home. I'm going to sit on my couch. You do stuff during the day when you're on the road. Then you do the show with your sister, and that energy is crazy.
Sure.
Yet you have the energy to keep going afterwards. Where does that drive come from?
Well, I mean, we're twofold. It's all stuff that I would be doing for fun and for free if I had another job. If I were working at Panera Bread, say, I would be doing all of this stuff on the side. So I'd be doing it anyway in the middle of the night. But I do get to make a living from it, and I don't have to work at Panera Bread. No disrespect to Panera Bread. But I think to me it's just about, like, doing stuff that you're passionate about. I mean, I guess I feel about music the way a lot of kids feel about, like, Fortnite, where it's like very hard for me to like put a guitar down and stop writing a song. So
Right.
I'm kind of, you know, at the sacrifice of maybe like a social life, I get a lot of work done.
If someone can find that comparison that you just said in any field, they'll be good.
Sure, I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so.
What came first, the instruments in your house or you telling your folks, I need pianos and music stuff in
The
here?
instruments were first.
Oh, they were?
Which is pretty awesome. So they were just there. I had a piano in my bedroom growing up, which was sort of secondary. That was like my granddad's old super beat up upright, and that sort of like was in the living room for a while, and then at one point I was like, could I have that in my room? So that was post me starting to write and play music.
And was that in your teens or
That was like 12.
at 12 years
Yeah.
old?
I started like 11, 12. But there were like guitars all over the house and keyboards. It was awesome.
Self-taught, your parents, lessons?
Like 6 months of lessons from an Italian dude named Marco when I was like 8, who didn't think I was very good, and he was right. And then I asked my dad when I was 11 to teach me how to play a John McLaughlin song called Beautiful Disaster
Okay.
on piano.
Right.
And he was like, okay. And I learned that, and I was like, done. Great. And when you learn like 6 chords, you know half the music ever written. So I was very excited about the cheat code I just unlocked
Right.
to all of music. It was great.
And having that cheat code and knowing that you want to do it is one thing, but being able to deliver lyrics and production and
I'm
have
the
people
best.
like it is a different thing. And you are the best, Finneas. Hey,
Kidding.
has it been difficult at all to be so honest with what you're writing or singing into a mic when no one's looking, and then have to let people hear it?
Yeah, totally. I think the songs that I'm the most proud of were the songs that were very nerve-wracking to put out and to share with people, and not necessarily like the songs that make me look the best. And I think that's been a really important part of making music, is not falling into like a self-aggrandizing place in your music. Unless maybe you're a self-aggrandizing person, right? I guess there's a lot of like flex records made by people who really think they're great,
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
cool, I guess.
There's like 25% of people like that.
Yeah, I've just never had a super high opinion of I have like that imposter syndrome thing where I go to a party and I'm like, I shouldn't be here. Like that feeling.
Wow.
So like songs that reflect that and reflect like the way that I've felt about myself my whole life have been the most challenging to decide to release, but also the ones that I'm like the proudest of. And then the cool part is like I Lost a Friend was this song that I felt was like deeply personal and not an incredibly relatable song, because there's lines that are very specific to me and to my life. And I think it's like the song that the most people have related to or heard themselves in of my body of work thus
No
far.
matter what song it is, I'm in love without you, I don't miss you at all. There's at least one part of all of these songs that everybody can relate to, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from. What percentage, of the songs are 100% from your experience, and what is it just you like, this is how I feel, so this is how I think it should go?
That's a really intelligently asked question. I think it would be really hard to articulate it better. The way I say it is I don't sacrifice quality of song for sort of blanket truth. Like, if 7 days, it wasn't the amount of days it was since the event, but 7 days is the best sounding amount of days, I'll say 7 days. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
There are some occasions, like there's a song called Break My Heart Again, where every line of that is just fully, autobiographical, factual.
Cool. Makes it even better.
So that song just kind of happened that way. But I think there's lines in that, like there's this line that kissed me half a decade later, same perfume, those same sad eyes. I think if it had been 4 years instead of 5, I would have said half a decade. It just happened to be I just lucked out. It was like, oh, kismet. I was just right there. But yeah, I try not to get in the way of a song being poetic by just being like, it was a Tuesday.
Did you ever
Friday night if I wanted to be.
Did you ever find, as your career started to blossom, way younger than you are now, that was a disadvantage or an advantage, that you were coming in so fresh with things, with ideas and lyrics to other people's work?
I think you have to, as a co-writer and a producer working with other people, you have to just channel a lot of empathy. I think as long as you can empathize with people and put yourself in their shoes, you can turn that into writing about how it would make you feel, and then you're just locked into how they're feeling, So I think I always try to get out of the way of like whenever I write a song with someone else, I sit with them. If like the benefit of my working relationship with Billy is we've known each other our entire lives. There's no history that we don't know, right? I know what was going on when she was 3. So I think we have that just like language of like your whole life. She can go, remember that one? And I go, yes. So when I'm writing with other people, I try to get as close as I can to building that, where I spend hours just sitting with them and asking about their relationship with their mom and what their friendships were like growing up and what their favorite relationships were, So I think that stuff just helps you like lock into a person's like response to things.
The sound of your music specifically, like the songs you just played here, I Don't Miss You at All, the guitar is so beautiful.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. That style, what's that style of music, why do you gravitate towards that? Why isn't it a plugged in, I'm moving my head like this?
That's a super good question, and I think about it a lot. And maybe at some point I'll make a Bon Iver Death Breast. Just sorry, banger. I'd like to stand on stage and rock out to a song like that. I just haven't. That hasn't come out yet. I mean, and there's a song by Duckworth called Start a Riot, and the hook's just like, who in here wanna start a riot? And it's like the best song. But I don't think you'd see me walk out in a polyester suit and be like, yes, true. I think you'd be like, what is going on? So I think it's just about like being honest. That's mostly just being honest with myself, right? Like that's a song where I'm like, you'll believe this because it's true,
As an outsider watching everything that you've been doing, it looks very fun. Are you having a damn good time?
Yeah, it's the best.
You are? Okay, good.
It's the best.
Good.
Right
good,
down
good.
to like yesterday, we had some friends over, and this is the goofiest example, but I was wearing an ugly Christmas sweater with a Fender logo on it.
Right.
And one of the dudes that was over is like a good friend of mine, but I don't get to see him very much, right? And not a long friend of, like, I've only known him for a couple months. And he came over and we were having dinner. And he was like, "Oh, that sweater's sick." He was like, "Did you buy that or did they give it to you?" And I was like, "They gave it to me." And he was like, "Being a rock star's the best." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, and that's the goofiest example, but that's probably the most tangible example. That's the kind of thing that is the most enjoyable. You're like, "Oh my God, I got a free ugly Fender Christmas sweater."
Right.
You know? The other stuff, like playing sold out shows, is like way too surreal to like quantify and actually get your head around. But getting free swag from Fender, fire. So cool.
Getting free swag, good. Playing sold out shows, great. Hanging out with me, Stryker,
Even better. Even better. I've listened to Stryker forever, for so long. Right before this interview, I was talking about how Alex Turner, an Eagle Rock resident, I believe, is often on Stryker, and he sits there, and Stryker will say some like glowing interview of Arctic Monkeys, and Alex, who would be dressed the same as I am, but with his hair would be like all in his eyes, and he would go, "Thanks for having me, Stryker." That's how his whole inner.
My day, Finneas. Finneas.
Hopefully that's just Alex.
I'm trying to just hug you right now, and I'm going to. Thank you, Finneas. Okay, and on that note, we're going to wrap it up, okay?
Love you, Stryker.
I love you too. Great to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We need you, man. Music needs you, so please don't stop doing this. I'm serious, man.
Thanks, man.
You got it. For Finneas, I'm Stryker here at the world famous KROQ. See you guys.